Dear members, I am Ravindra Kishore Sinha, Chairman of the company, participating in this meeting from Dehradun. I hope all of you are safe and in good health. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 37th annual general meeting of the company. I sincerely thank all of you I sincerely thank all of you for your esteemed presence, continued trust, and patronage extended to the company. This meeting is being held through video conference in accordance with the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. The company has made all feasible efforts under the current circumstances to enable the members to participate at the meeting through video conference facility and to vote at the AGM. The members are allowed to join on first come basis. Before we commence the proceeding of the meeting, I would like to inform you that all members who have joined the meeting are placed on mute by default to avoid any disturbances and to ensure a smooth and seamless conduct of the meeting. As the requisite quorum is present through video conference, I call this meeting to order. I now would like to introduce the members of the board who are participating in the meeting today. Mr. Rituraj Kishore Sinha, Group Managing Director, attending this meeting from Dehradun. Mr. Uday Singh, Non-Executive Director, attending this meeting from Bangalore. Mrs. Rita Kishore Sinha, Non-Executive Director, attending the meeting from Dehradun. Mr. Arvind Kumar Prasad, Director Finance, attending this meeting from Delhi. Mr. Amrendra Prasad Verma, Independent Director and Chairman of the Audit Committee and Stakeholders Relationship Committee, attending this meeting from Patna. Mr. T.C.A. Ranganathan, Independent Director and Chairman of the Nominations and Remuneration Committee, attending this meeting from Delhi. Mr. Devdas Apte, Independent Director, attending this meeting from Delhi. Mr. Rajan Krishnanath Medekar, Independent Director, attending this meeting from Greater Noida. Mrs. Renu Mattu, Independent Director, attending this meeting from Gurgaon. Mr. Sunil Srivastava, Independent Director, attending this meeting from Mumbai. Apart from that, we also have the key executives of the company participating in this meeting from their respective locations. Mr. Dheeraj Singh, CEO, Facility Management and Emerging Businesses from Gurgaon, Mr. Tapat Chaudhary, Chief Executive, Chief Operating Officer, India Security Solution from Delhi, Mr. Devesh Desai, Chief Financial Officer from Bangalore, and Mr. Brajesh Kumar, Chief Financial Officer, Security Solutions and Facility Management, Delhi. Mr. Vamshidhar Gunti Konda, President M&A and Investor Relations, Ms. Pushpalata K, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer, the Statutory Auditor represented by Ms. Anu Saxena, Managing Partner, and the Secretarial Auditors represented by Mr. Sudhir V. Ulialkar, and are also participating in this meeting. I thank all the members for joining this meeting. I now request Pushpalata, our Company Secretary, to provide general instructions to the members regarding participation in this meeting. Pushpalata.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Members may please note that this meeting is being held through video conference in accordance with the direction issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI. The Register of Directors and the Register of Contracts and Arrangements in which directors are interested are available electronically for inspection by the members during the continuation of the meeting. Since the AGM is being held through video conference, the facility for appointment of proxies by the members was not applicable, and hence the proxy register is not made available for inspection. The company has received a request from a few members to register them as speakers at the meeting. Accordingly, we will facilitate the session for the register members once the chairman opens the floor for the question and answer session. Members can also post their views or questions through the chat window tab on their video conference screen during the continuation of the meeting.
Gadhai.
Members may note that provided e-voting facility to all its members to cast their votes electronically on all the resolutions set forth in the notice. The remote e-voting period commenced on June 22nd, 2021 and concluded on Thursday, June 24, 2021.
Deepak.
Members who have not yet cast their votes and who are participating in this meeting will have an
ऊपर करके जहां हमारा है वहां नहीं करोगे तो उस समय
through the e-voting system provided by CSL. Members can click on the EVSN tab to cast their votes. The Board of Directors have appointed Mr. Suryakant Kumar, Practicing Company Secretary, as the scrutinizer to oversee the e-voting process. Thank you, and I now hand over back to Chairman.
Speech. Thank you, Pushpalata. Dear shareholders, board members, and other invited guests, it gives me great pleasure to be here with you at this AGM after yet another strong and resilient year for the SIS. This is the second time where all of us are not physically present at the annual general meeting. The AGM is an occasion I look forward to every year. It gives me a chance to interact with many of our long-time investors and shareholders. However, we are living in the extraordinary times and we are all trying to navigate the COVID situation, and we are conducting the AGM through the webcast format, which provides a platform for a larger number of shareholders to attend the meeting. I am pleased that shareholders who are not based in Patna are also getting an opportunity to attend the AGM and interact with the board. We are going through extremely challenging times in almost every area, arising out of COVID, from the economy to healthcare to employment. Our economy was going through a troubled phase even prior to the COVID, which has worsened since then. The government across our markets, India and APAC, have announced a series of physical and support measures to help get the economics back on track and alleviate some of the pains arising out of this situation, and we hope that we will see a quick economic recovery. The second wave has stalled some of the recovery, and I hope that with the increasing pace of vaccination, we will be able to avoid further surges. At SIS, we have been at the forefront of the efforts to keep the economy and businesses running throughout financial year 21 by providing uninterrupted services to our clients. Our services have been classified as essential services, and we continuously conducted operations. Our clients across the country and in all the segments we operate, healthcare, consumer goods, banks, modern retail, public utilities, e-commerce, logistics, educational institutions, etc. In fact, all sectors were largely able to continue to operate without disruption. I salute all the frontline staff of SIS who were unrelenting in their dedication and stood out as the COVID warriors during this phase. I am especially grateful to all the frontline staff working in over 300 plus hospitals who took a great risk in carrying out their duties in the largest interest of the society and economy. Our interrupted services, dedicated and uncompromising quality standards, received a lot of praise from all our customers. What has stood out for me during these last few months is the inherent resilience of the sector, which has been reinforced. There have been immense sacrifices made by our employees. Though we have supported all these families on monetary support or what No words can replace the loss of a loved one, and I pray for the departed souls and for their families to have the fortitude to bear the loss. Their services were immeasurable. Coming to FY21, FY21 was a year of extraordinary grit and resilience for the SIS group. We crossed 9,100 crore in revenue, consolidating to our credentials as one of the leading business services players, not only in India but also in APAC. Our security vertical in India continued to be the largest, and we have made some impressive strides in our alarm monitoring and response business under We Protect brand. Our India security vertical revenue were flat over the previous year at a close to rupees 3,500 crores. Our international segment is the standout performer with 22% growth in revenue and 29% growth in EBITDA, with our services being invaluable to the government in several COVID security needs. All the geographies, Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, have also done exceedingly well this year. The facility management segment has been impacted due to many end user segment still not being fully operational, including railways, IT parks, hospitality, retails, etc. Due to this, the revenue were down by 12% over last year, with the enhanced forces on the hygiene and cleanliness post-COVID. This emphasis of post-COVID, I feel confident that this segment will recover very quickly. Our cash logistics joint venture with Prosegur continues to consolidate its position in the market that has many structural issues. We have delivered strong revenues and EBITDA growth during the year, and the segment is on a steady revenue and margin uptake. Our efforts to continuously improve the technology and solutions have been gaining momentum. Post-COVID, the way we live and work is going to see a fundamental change, and we are pioneering newer solutions and accelerating our digital transformation initiatives to ensure the employees are able to return to and continue operating in a safe and a hygienic working environment. It gives me immense satisfaction that SIS is among the top 5 private employers in India now, and we provide a regular, sustainable livelihood to the millions of households across the country. We have grown continuously without compromising on employees' welfare and benefits, and this is the key of our ability to hire and retain the best talents. Our continuous effort at employee welfare and support, from our COVID welfare measures to vaccination programs to counseling and training sessions to a very broad-based e-shop plan have been recognized by the Great Place to Work Institute, which has ranked SIS as number 31 in the best companies to work for in India. Similarly, we have also been ranked among the 15 best employers in the nation builders category. We are humbled and while also proud of this achievement, which is not just a recognition to 1 year's effort, but over 40 years of culture and values installed in our teams. We had set up a we had set up a Hamare Hero Fund early on this pandemic to support the families that had COVID cases on their medical and associated expenses. We are glad that we have been able to provide a fair degree of support to our employees in their testing times. As we gently ease out our way out of the crisis, as a country, SIS services will be demanded even more by our customers to get them back into the full operational mode. We feel comfortable in the coming back. Our customers will feel comfortable in coming back to the work, whether it is schools, malls, railway station, IT parks, banks, etc. SIS will keep performing with this same sense of unflinching commitment, and it is as it is known for as the largest essential services provider in the country. We have a vital role to play in getting our businesses and economy back in motion. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank to all our stakeholders for their continued belief in SIS story. We believe in key blocks are in place of our future success, and we are poised to show sustained high growth in India as well as in APAC. With warm regards and best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much. Pushpalata. Pushpalata, please.
Thank you, Chairman, for the speech, wonderful speech. I now request Mr. Rituraj Sinha, Group Managing Director, to address the members and present the business performance.
Like I was saying, FY21 has been an unprecedented year. It's been a year of GDP contraction. It has been a year where we had to run businesses in the middle of a health crisis, apart from an economic crisis. But in many ways, my dear shareholders, I also believe that in many ways, FY21 was the ultimate test of culture, organization culture in any business, and the inherent strength or weaknesses of a business model. And I'm very pleased to present the results today before you. I'm very thankful to be able to lead a team of very capable leaders, professional CEOs, CFOs, business managers who have made the most testing year in the history of SIS, also one of the brightest and best financial year performances. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you with pride the FY21 results. In FY21, SIS Group demonstrated resilience in the midst of the greatest crisis that one has witnessed in decades, if not a century. In this period of difficulty, we were not only able to report the highest ever profit after tax for SIS Group in its history at 367 crore rupees, which was 62% higher than previous year. Apart from this high PAT, what is most remarkable is that we were able to maintain our margins. Our EBITDA continued to be more or less flat, and our revenue grew in this year. Our revenue grew by 7.6%. Ladies and gentlemen, SIS, with your support and the effort of all our managers, is amongst the very few listed companies which are $1 billion plus in revenue, large companies, which have reported year-on-year revenue growth in financial year 21. Moving on, it's not just a very good performance from a perspective of P&L, it's also an outstanding performance in terms of balance sheet. Our balance sheet is significantly stronger than the previous financial year. The most important highlight, gentlemen and ladies, is the fact that our debt is down by almost 50%. In FY20, our debt was 703 crores at the end of the year. In FY21, at the end of this year, financial year 21, our debt stands at 376 crore rupees. And mind you, this is despite having paid out 203 crores towards the SXP acquisition. So even after we paid out 203 crore rupees this year, from our accruals, our debt is down by almost 350 crores. Our net debt to EBITDA, the key metric, is at 0.7. If you recollect, last year in FY20, before Corona struck, our net debt to EBITDA was 1.35, and now it is at 0.7, which is the lowest ever since IPO. Not only have we reduced the debt, we have also reduced the cost of debt. The average cost of borrowing for SIS Group now is in the range of 5%, and our interest cost as a result has come down by more than 20 crore rupees in this fiscal. So we've cut the interest outgo by 21% in FY21. This strength of balance sheet has been recognized by third party as well. We are very proud that the rating agencies, the credit rating agencies like CRISIL and India Ratings have upgraded SIS to AA- credit rating. This is remarkable because our upgrade has actually come in the middle of crisis year. If we go forward, I think the key aspect is that this stupendous performance, P&L wise and balance sheet wise, has also yielded sustained shareholder returns. We are very happy to share with you that in FY21, despite all the uncertainty, despite of all the problems that we've had, SIS has maintained a return on capital employed of 19%. ROCE of 19%, and a return on equity of 22.8%. Ladies and gentlemen, this return ratio underlines the fact that we have a very unique asset-light annuity revenue business model where even in a slower growth year, even when we grow only 7% versus 15-20%, the working capital requirement of the business adjusts down, and resultantly SIS is able to consistently deliver the 20% broad range returns that we have promised our shareholders. Other than the return ratios, it has also been the year of highest ever cash generation. Our receivables, DSOs, days of sales outstanding, are down to 56 days, which shows our laser sharp focus on cash generation and cash conservation. And most importantly, we have used this as an opportunity to reward our shareholders with a buyback program of 100 crore rupees. This is the highest amount of return to shareholders since our IPO. You are aware that SIS has been a dividend paying company throughout. We have consistently paid dividend every single year since our IPO. But I am very happy to report that the buyback program conducted in FY21 is greater than dividend paid out in the last 4 years put together. Till today, since IPO, SIS has paid out close to 180 crore rupees as dividend to its shareholders. One aspect that I wanted to share with you is the reason why this is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why it's possible is because of the nature of business that we are in. We are in essential services segment. We are in a segment which people do not fully appreciate so far in India because there is no other listed company in the essential services domain like ourselves. I'll give you an example. People broadly categorize us as outsourced services, but we are more than outsourced services. And the proof of that is the fact that when India went into lockdown, when national lockdown was announced last year, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India categorized private security, cash logistics, and hygiene and sanitation services as essential services in the same bracket as banking services, as healthcare services, as e-commerce services. We were amongst the few services which even the government acknowledged is critical for society at large and continuity of economy and government machinery. And it's a result of that our performance through the year has been extremely consistent. I'd like to point out the fact that through the last year, our 230,000 plus employees have worked relentlessly. They have worked through the period of lockdown and through the period of unlocks and festive season. They have worked in the hospitals which were completely overwhelmed. They worked at manufacturing facilities of essential commodities like pharma, etc. But at the same time, these cameras and security guards and hygiene sanitation staff have also worked and done their duty at the malls which were non-operational, at the cinemas that were only non-operational for large parts of the year, outside various other corporate parks which were semi-operational. So it explains the fact that whether it is lockdown or unlock, whether a sector is little impacted like manufacturing or heavily impacted like retail and entertainment, we as essential services have a role to play everywhere. I'll give you a case in point. The best example today would be healthcare. I think healthcare sector has got so much attention, but people often forget that you cannot operate a hospital site or any healthcare facility without security staff, hygiene staff, cleaning staff. Without basic hygiene and sanitation, you cannot run a healthcare facility, just like you cannot run it without doctors and nurses. And people underestimate the fact that almost 19,000 plus SIS employees work at healthcare sector alone. We service and help maintain 120,000 beds in India, 1.2 lakh beds. The largest hospital chain in the country, which is listed, only has 10,000 beds. But we, as an essential services provider, work with government hospitals and private hospital chains. Put together, we assist more than 350 hospitals across the country and support day-to-day running of 120,000 beds in this country. And it's because of that, if you see the bar chart at the bottom of the slide, you will see that throughout this corona period, every month since March of last year, our revenue has been stable. We were least impacted. In fact, we started growing August onwards. In festival season, we gained volume. Just one critical number to remember would be that in April, when the lockdown was there, our revenue was 724 crore rupees for April month 2020. And when we finished the year, March 2021, our revenue was 822 crores, almost 100 crore more, almost 14% more monthly revenue was achieved through the 12 months of corona period, which makes our sector very remarkable because during corona crisis, we were clearly amongst the least impacted and one of the few that were the first to recover and get back into growth mode. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that our financial results have been outstanding, let me not undermine the impact on employee health and safety. Corona year has been a mammoth challenge for us as an employer. It has been a mammoth challenge for three reasons. First, we have a very large employee base, 230,000 staff. Second, we are an essential service provider. We did not have the option to put anybody in work from home mode. We have had to work throughout every single day of this crisis period. And third reason why it's a mammoth challenge is because we don't have our staff in campuses or in one city or in few manufacturing facilities. Our staff is spread over more than 20,000 locations scattered over 670 districts of India and overseas markets. Despite this mammoth challenge in terms of safety of employees, we decided to put employee health and safety as our first and foremost priority while ensuring business and service continuity for our customers. We have taken preventive actions, containment measures, and support measures. And I am pleased to share today that after the second wave, after the dreadful impact of the second wave, also only 3% of SIS employee base has contracted COVID, and a large credit for that goes to our extremely effective preventive training and PPE kit related measures that we implemented as early as March and early April last year. Second, we have had unfortunate loss of life, but our mortality rate is under 0.5%. Again, we have tried our best to extend fullest support and cooperation to anybody, any employee who was affected by COVID, both in financial terms as well as in terms of hospitalization and treatment, while we were able to safeguard lives of most of our affected employees. We have unfortunately suffered fatalities as well. Two of our measures that are outstanding in this area. First, the Hamare Heroes Corona Welfare Fund, from which 6,258 employees have been extended assistance of 7.8 crore rupees to meet their medical treatment costs and other costs which are incidental upon becoming a COVID positive case. The second drive that I am more excited about personally is the Hamare Heroes vaccination drive. You will be pleased to know that SIS Group decided to take an early lead in the vaccination drive. We see it as the only permanent solution to safeguarding lives and livelihoods. And with our initiative, we launched the Hamare Heroes vaccination drive on 1st of May. Today, in more than 130 cities across almost 30 states of the country, every single day, SIS is vaccinating hundreds of its own employees. And I'm very, very pleased to share with you that as of 24th June, last evening, we have vaccinated 171,963 employees of SIS Group, which is approximately 75% of our employee base. So we've managed to administer first dose vaccination for 75% of employee base. We believe that going at the current trend, we will be able to administer first dose vaccination to 100% of our employee base within the next 15 days. Our expected time frame is 10th of July for first dose completion, and by 30th September 2021, we hope to ensure both doses of vaccination for all 230,000 SIS Group employees. Our effort towards our employees has been guided always by our chairman's, founder and chairman's saying that motivated employees, happy employees are the first condition for satisfied customers. So if a service business like ourselves, an essential service business like ourselves, if it cannot look after its employees, it cannot satisfy its customers. And our chairman has always said that if you look after your employees, they will look after the business. With that guiding principle, SIS has conducted its affairs in FY21 as always, and we are very pleased to share with you that our efforts have not only been appreciated by the employees, but also been recognized by one of the most coveted recognitions by Great Place to Work Institute, the Best Employees Awards, and we are happy to share that we have been ranked the 31st best workplace in India. We also received the award for the best workplace in our sector, facility management sector. We were recognized as the best workplace, and we were also recognized as a mega employer. But like the chairman said earlier, the most dear recognition for us, the most valuable, the most proud moment for us is to be recognized as amongst the top 15 nation builder employees in India and we are very, very humbled and very grateful both to our employees, to our shareholders, and to the Great Place Institute for showering this on us as SIS. Thank you very much. Dear shareholders, as vaccination drive in India picks up, as the economy revives, we are very hopeful and we look forward to a strong FY22. I once again thank our shareholders for their continued support and encouragement.
Thank you, Rituraj. As the notice has been circulated already to the members in advance, with the permission of the members, I would like to take the notice convening the meeting as read, auditor's report as read. Next, I would like to provide a summary of the auditor's report. Members may please note that the statutory auditors have issued an unmodified opinion on both the standalone and consolidated financial statements, and that there are no qualifications, reservations, or adverse remarks in the auditor report. Similarly, there are no observations, reservations, or adverse remarks in the secretarial audit report also. Before we proceed, I would also like to inform the members that as required under the Companies Act 2013, the company has provided e-voting facilities to all its members to cast their votes on all the resolutions set forth in the notice. Members who have not yet cast their votes and who are participating in this meeting can cast their votes through the e-voting systems provided by CDSL. Members may please note that there will be no voting by show of hands. Now we move to the agenda items. We now take up the agenda of the meeting and the respective resolutions as set forth in the notice. We will then open the floor for any question by the members after all the resolutions are tabled. Members may note that since all the resolutions have already been placed before the members for e-voting, there will be no proposing or seconding of any of the resolution in this meeting. Item number 1. Adoption of the audited financial statement of the company, including the audited consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended March 31st, 2021, together with the report of the Board of Directors and the auditors thereon. The audited financial statement for the financial year ended March 31, 2021, and the reports of the Board of Directors and the auditors thereon have already been circulated to the members. Resolution. Resolved that the audited financial statements of the company, including the consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended March 31, 2021, and the reports of the Board of Directors and auditors to be and are hereby considered and adopted. As I am deemed interested in the next agenda item, I request Mr. Amarendra Prasad Verma, Independent Director, to assume the chair and conduct the proceeding in respect of the next item.
Thank you, Chairman. The next item on the agenda is to appoint a director in place of Mr. Rituraj Kishore Sinha, who retires by rotation and, being eligible, offers himself for reappointment. The resolution pertaining to the agenda reads as under: resolved that Sri Rituraj Kishore Sinha, who retires by rotation and being eligible for reappointment, be and hereby appointed as director of the company. Thank you, Chairman, once again. And now you can assume and go with the remaining agenda items.
Have you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the next item. ठीक है, हमको देखने दो. Now the item number 3 is to appoint a director in place of Mr. Arvind Kumar Prasad, director's identification number 02865273, who retires by rotation and, being eligible, offers himself for reappointment. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Resolution is resolved that Mr. Arvind Kumar Prasad, who retires by rotation and being eligible for reappointment, be and is hereby reappointed as the director of the company. Now, item number 4, to consider and approve the revision of remuneration of Mr. Arvind Kumar Prasad, DIN 02865273, Director Finance of the company. The text of the resolution along with explanatory statement is provided in the notice which has been circulated to the member already. Now we come to the question answer session. If any member desires to ask any question pertaining to financial statements or related matters, he or she may do so now. I request all members to keep their questions brief and specific. The moderator will facilitate the questions on the video feature. To provide repetition, the answer of all questions will be provided once all questions have been raised by the members. Before we start the question answer session, I would like to inform you some points for your reference. Number 1, kindly turn on your video and unmute yourself and then proceed to ask the questions, not before that. Please mention your name and location from where you are participating. And number 3, each member will have maximum 2 minutes for their question. I now request the host to read out the names of the registered members. Host, please.
Mr. Abhishek J is the first speaker. He is not available right now.
Okay, proceed to next.
Second one is Sarbananda Gattani, jointly with Nilesh Gattani. Both of them are not available with us right now.
Okay.
Sir, yeah, sir, I would like to inform to Chairman, sir, that we have received a few queries from one of the shareholders, Mr. Abhishek, sir, and I would request the Managing Director to respond to the queries.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to thank Mr. Abhishek for being very kind to place all these questions. It allows us as management the opportunity to address some very important aspects for the benefit of all our shareholders. So I have before me the list of questions that Mr. Abhishek has asked, and I'll try and respond to them one by one. So the first question from Mr. Abhishek, he asks, what is the real impact of COVID-19? In percentage terms, how your supply chain has been affected? So, Mr. Abhishek, the COVID impact on revenues is very minimal, as you have seen. In fact, we are amongst the few companies that have reported a year-on-year revenue growth. However, we had to incur additional costs on employee welfare, on PPE, material purchase and supply, extensive training costs across India, even employee accommodation, employee transportation, employee fooding costs. So these are all costs that we had to incur to streamline and keep our supply chain in order. But overall, I still believe compared to manufacturing and so many other sectors, our demand remained resilient, but on the other hand, our supply chain was also least impacted, both in terms of availability of staff and also the availability of materials for continuing our business. Second question, he asked, Mr. Abhishek asked, where do you see light at the end of the tunnel? What will be the growth triggers in the first half and second half of the year? I'm assuming he is suggesting FY22. So I think, Abhishek ji, being an essential services provider, our demand resilience and our supply side resilience have been demonstrated more than adequately in FY21. From a complete lockdown phase to a festive season uptake, you have seen the month-on-month revenue chart that I demonstrated. However, to get back to historical 15-20% year-on-year growth rates, I guess we'll have to still wait and see how the economy picks up. Whether there will be a third wave or not, how fast India will be able to vaccinate and achieve herd immunity. These are all questions which are up in the air. So I would say that as the economy reopens, there is enough growth triggers for us. And I'm confident that growth will come back. If you ask a more specific question around pre-COVID level of growth being matched in FY22 or not, I'd say that we'll all have to wait and watch about how quickly Indian economy can get back on its feet and whether or not we have a third wave. But ballpark, after experiencing FY21, I'm very confident that we are better prepared to take on FY22 and hopefully get back to pre-COVID levels of performance. Third question that Abhishek ji has asked us, please give the production capacity utilization figures in percentage for the month of April, May and June 2021, which is the first quarter. What was capacity utilization last year and what was last 5 years capacity utilization on average? So firstly, let me clarify, Abhishek ji, that we are not a manufacturing firm. We are not a manufacturing unit. we provide services, essential services. So the capacity utilization framework does not very directly apply to us. Having said that, let me try and address your concerns because I understand what your worry may be. The mothership, the standalone entity, the India Security Solutions business has recovered very well. Now let me give you some numbers, right? In March 2020, last year, pre-corona, March 2020, India security business was doing roughly 302 crore rupees monthly revenue. In March of 2021, this year, they were doing 309 crore rupees monthly revenue. So if you see, compared to last March, we are actually reporting higher revenues in India security. So definitely on full capacity, in fact in marginal growth mode. The facility management business was affected more significantly, and that was predominantly because our FM business works a lot with the hospitality sector, hotels. It works a lot with corporate offices and corporate parks. The hospitality and hygiene business also works a lot with Indian Railways, which were literally shut down. While we were impacted in these type of customers, we are very fortunate that our FM business is also having a very large footprint in healthcare segment, in pharma segment, e-commerce segment. And in these segments, we saw a surge in demand. So the reduction in volume from few segments was duly compensated by this surge in demand for facility management services in other pockets. Overall, the facility management business also is more or less operating at same level in March 2021 as it was in March 2020. Maybe a 5-10 crore gap at best on monthly revenue, but very minimal. So just like security solutions, facility management has also fully recovered. The third vertical are security solutions international markets. As you have seen, that business is thriving. They have reported 20% year-on-year revenue growth. So all the three segments of our consolidated results are doing very well. Our cash logistics joint venture is not a part of this consolidated revenue, consolidated results, because it's a joint venture company. Even in the cash business, we are reporting higher revenues than March of last year. So overall, as I said, the key number to remember is that in March 2021, our revenue for SIS Group for monthly revenue for March 21 was 822 crores versus last March 20 of 724. So roughly a 14% monthly revenue growth has happened. I think more details, specific details in this regard, Abhishek ji, are available on pages 12 and 13 of annual report. I will request you to have a look at that. As regards to our last 5 years performance, you would like to refer to pages 8 and 9 of our annual report. In page 8 and 9, we give not just the revenue for last 5 years, but also the EBITDA, PAT, return on capital employed, return on equity, OCF, debt, all these parameters for last 5 years have been very transparently reported in our annual report, page number 8 and page number 9. I hope that satisfies your query. I have more questions, so I think Abhishek ji also wants to know a little bit about coronavirus impact, in general. So he's asking, COVID and subsequent lockdowns have left virtually no industry untouched. So please answer the following series of questions around COVID. The first question from Abhishek ji around COVID impact on the industry. He asks, how many employees have we sacked? How much salary cut in percentage has happened? Abhishek ji, I think this is a very important question, and I thank you very much for actually asking this. I'd like to share with the shareholders that SIS Group has not terminated the services of even one single employee throughout the corona period. We have also not done any salary cuts for any employee of any level in SIS Group. And God is kind that one has had the support of customers and shareholders, that as management, we've been able to maintain a no job cut, no pay cut throughout this crisis here. In fact, Abhishek ji, let me share with you that SIS gave increments to its branch level employees in October of last year. So as soon as the festive season demand uptick came, we actually gave increments to branch level employees, not the higher pay package employees who work at corporate or at SBU level, but the employees who work from the front line, the branch level staff, all of them were given increments in October last year. Abhishek ji further wants to know what innovations and new product launches did you do after April 1 last year, and how has the response been? I think this is a fantastic question, Abhishek ji. I think SIS Group for the first time decided to put all our services in a bundle and offer them as what we called the circle of safety solutioning, where we were pitching to customers not only the security solutions, the electronic security solutions, but also the hygiene and safety solutions, the pest control and fumigation solutions, and transport and fleet management solutions. All these solutions bundled into one package. We called it the SIS Circle of Safety. And you will be very pleased to know that we generated more than 1,500 orders last year. One-time orders and recurring orders both through this Circle of Safety program. We also adopted new technology. You know, SIS is a very large electronic security player. A lot of CCTV cameras. I think there is no building or society or corporate office or gym or utility, metro, hotel, hospital, retail, mall. There is no place today in India where you will not see CCTV cameras. You'll be very pleased to know that we used artificial intelligence, video analytics technology in May, June last year to launch something called Virtual COVID Marshal. It was a artificial intelligence based product which uses CCTV footage to track COVID behavior compliance. It tracks distance between people, it tracks mask wearing, and it tracks other such features. This product was very welcome, and even the best and biggest PSUs in the country have adopted this widely last year. Similarly, our facility management business, which was at the epicenter of the health crisis, you know, the hygiene sanitation part, the FM business launched a smart surface disinfection technology. We launched a GUV technology and IAQ solutions for robotic duct cleaning and disinfection and ultraviolet disinfection at high-risk facilities like hospitals. So a lot of innovation did happen last year. I'm very happy that you asked this question. It allows me the opportunity to share more micro details of our working. Next question from Abhishek ji around Corona impact is, what is the cost-cutting initiatives and production enhancement activity done by the management? Abhishek ji, like I said, we see cost as two parts: salary cost, the employee salary cost, and the other cost, the non-salary cost. So you'll be very happy to know that we were able to achieve cost saving of 55 crore rupees on the non-salary cost cutting measures. And there are more details regarding this available on page 13 of the annual report. Next question from Abhishek ji is, how much salary cut was taken by the management? Abhishek ji, we have not affected any salary cut for management. Like I said, no job cut, no pay cut. So no salary cut for management. But yes, the higher pay brackets, most of the management staff at regional level, at strategic business unit level, at corporate level, functional heads, all of them have not received any increment, and they've been extremely cooperative to understand that the first right on increment, first right on company's resources is to the frontline staff and the branch level operation managers. But I'm hoping that soon we can rectify that anomaly because at all levels, SIS corporate level down to branch level, all employees have done their very best despite the most challenging circumstances the last year. This result is only an outcome of the combined efforts. The next question from Abhishek ji is, what is the sustainability of profit earnings growth in the coming years? Now, Abhishek ji, as you are aware, since our IPO 16 quarters back, 4 quarters back, 4 years back when we listed, we have always given the same broad guidance. Year on year, 20% revenue growth. We want to maintain 20% return on capital and a 50% operating cash flow to EBITDA. These are the three metrics that SIS benchmarks itself on, and these metrics were announced 4 years back when we listed. We have maintained the same metrics throughout this 16 quarters since listing, and even looking ahead in FY22, our aspiration is to move in the same direction. We are benchmarking with the same metrics. Only time will tell how we fare in FY22, and I think we must acknowledge that a lot will depend on the vaccination drive of the government, the economic recovery, and if the third wave happens, and to what severity. So I think these are unknowns, and our growth numbers will be impacted, but broadly, I don't see a reason to change the guidance. Guidance-wise, we maintain the same guidance as we did pre-COVID. The next question, what is the management efforts in improving the working capital ratio, the ROCE, the net debt to EBITDA? I think all these questions are very well addressed on pages 8 and 9 of the annual report, Abhishek ji. I am sure you will find answers to all these points. Abhishek ji further asks that I will request your good selves to please arrange a factory visit for shareholders as soon as pandemic ends. When was the last factory visit arranged by the company? Abhishek ji, once again, I would like to point out that we are not a manufacturing industry. We do not have a factory. We are a service business. We operate at our customer sites. While it is not feasible for us to organize a visit for you to our customer site, I would take up the offer and very humbly welcome you to our equivalent of manufacturing facility, which is Training Academy. So I would encourage you to participate, and I would request Pushpalata that when the pandemic is over, we must organize a visit for all interested shareholders to our Central Training Academy in Jharkhand at their convenience, and hopefully that will give you an insider view on how the recruitment, training and supply chain for the business works. The next question is, what are the management efforts to improve company image through investor relation exercise like con call, quarterly presentation and global investors meet? Abhishek ji, as you would note, we publish quarterly results note within 30 days of quarter ending, and the earnings analysis is rather detailed. It's almost a 10-15 page document where we give very transparent and detailed numbers and narrative. Investor call is scheduled one day after the earnings release. I will welcome you to attend the investor calls, which are held on every quarter basis, and all these information are uploaded instantly, including transcripts, etc., on our website, which are available for you to refer to any time you want. The next question I have is, please provide details of parties in other current and non-current liabilities. Please let me know the details of contingent liabilities, and if the CS can arrange a video call with your legal head to learn about this in detail. Abhishek ji, details of all liabilities are already disclosed. All details of contingent liabilities as are required to be disclosed are clearly disclosed on pages 148 and pages 222 of the annual report. If you have any other specific questions after reading that, please write to us. We'll try our best to address your concerns. The next question is, what are the management efforts to reduce other expenses, legal, professional charges and audit fees? Well, I believe that the expenses incurred on these heads are well managed and controlled. They are in line with companies of similar size. I don't see us to be spending more on legal, professional or audit fees in any which way. We benchmark SIS vis-a-vis listed companies having similar revenue size, and I believe that our expenses on these heads are significantly lower than other companies of 9 or 10,000 crores revenue size. However, we are constantly looking to manage these costs better and continuously evaluate for greater efficiency. Rest assured, we will continue to do so. The next question is, what are the credentials that the new and existing directors are bringing to the table to take the company to the next phase of growth and to guide the next generation? Is the appointment of directors being done by checking all new amendments under clause 49? Well, Abhishek ji, all details of the background and experience and fitment of our directors are disclosed in the annual report and on the SIS Group website. A thorough evaluation is made by the NRC as per the mandate they hold, and their recommendations are considered at the full board meeting before such decisions are taken. All regulatory requirements are complied, and an independent secretarial audit is conducted every year, and report is circulated to the members. You will see all of this information, all details regarding this, Abhishek ji, on pages 61 and 63 of the annual report. A corporate governance report is also available on pages 64 and 81 of the annual report. So basically, I'd like you to rest assured that SIS board is very concerned about the compliance aspect, and our directors are both bringing skills to the table and devoting the necessary time to ensure that our shareholder expectations are met consistently. The next question is, what is the policy related to dividend in our company, as most of the senior citizens only depend on that? Well, Abhishek, I fully understand and appreciate that aspect. And SIS has been a dividend paying company throughout. If you talk about the specific policy, if you look at the website of the company, the dividend policy of SIS is stated on the website itself. Let me refresh your memory. The declared dividend policy states that the company will strive to declare steady stream of dividend to its shareholders of at least 10% of the profit after tax of the financial year. However, the actual quantum of dividend paid out by the company is significantly higher. And I think track record speaks for itself, Abhishek ji. Company has completed a buyback recently of 100 odd crore rupees, in which 15,802 small shareholders participated and benefited. We are very happy to share that since our listing, we have declared 81 crores of dividend plus 100 crores through buyback. So in total, 181 crore rupees has been returned to our shareholders in the last 4 years. The next question is, please provide current top 300 shareholders list. I request Madam Pushpalata, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer, to kindly comply with this request and share the list of top 300 shareholders as early as possible. The next question, where do you see the industry in 3 years? Where our company will be placed within the industry? Are other competitors or players more proactive and prudent? Well, I think your company, my dear shareholder, is very keen in planning ahead. It's always been our practice to do that. That is why SIS has been the fastest growing company in our sector for the last 20 years back to back. We have maintained the tag of being the fastest growing company of size. We are also the largest market share. We are also the #1 company in terms of innovations and new products in our segment. So let me assure you on our keen eye on planning ahead and staying ahead of our competitors. But to be more specific, if you want to know about the company's plan for the next 3 to 4 years, we have announced a Vision 2025, which lays out the roadmap from now until 2024-25, 4 years, and all details regarding Vision 2025 are available on pages 14 and 15 of the annual report. So please have a look at that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions, whether you consider that preparedness to be adequate and if you have any suggestions for us. The next question is, please put a detailed PPT and give an opportunity for a one-to-one discussion with management. We want to learn and understand about industry dynamics. I'd be very happy and welcome that. Pushpalata, please check with the shareholder concerned if he's available to join the next investor presentation that happens, I think, at the end of July. We'll be talking about very detailed strategy and industry dynamics. I'd welcome all shareholders and interested investors to participate. But as a pre-read, I will encourage everybody to understand the industry dynamics. Please go through pages 18 to 33 of the annual report, which captures segment by segment detailing of how we see the customer demand moving, where our strengths are, where we think our next opportunity lies. Entire thing is very well laid out between pages 18 and 33, segment by segment in our annual report. Please spare time to look through that and share your thoughts and feedback. The last point, the second last point, sorry, is Mr. Abhishek says that myself and my team are running a legal firm in Chennai, and I would request your good selves to enroll our firm in empanelment of the company. We'll be glad to extend our services. I request Pushpalata ji to kindly pass on these details to the concerned department, and I'm sure your credentials will match the requirements that the company has, and if so, we would be more than happy to empanel you as one of our legal advisors. Thank you. That brings me to the last two questions. Since this year's AGM are being conducted virtually, we, the minority shareholders, lose the privilege to meet the management and board of directors. We also request that minority shareholders who wanted. Okay, so but there is a request from other minority shareholders who wanted me to raise in the AGM that sweet boxes or sweet coupons must be provided to shareholders who attend the meeting. My dear sir, I miss the physical AGM, and like the chairman sir was saying, we all miss the physical AGM as much as you do. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to meet everyone and share thoughts and exchange notes. I am hopeful that there will be a post-corona period soon, and we will be able to resume physical AGMs. While the request of sweet boxes and sweet coupons, I think the regulations, I am told by Pushpalata that as compliance officer, she is very strict also. So she says that the regulations do not allow for distribution of such gifts and facilities. But I will still request Pushpalata that wherever this request is coming from, please put them as chairman's friend and family category, and maybe not a shareholder, but we can share some, small gesture from our side as a small token to say thank you. A last point, I wish the company and the board of directors great success and prosperity. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the questions. I appreciate all the shareholders who have taken the time to ask all these questions. I would have much rather preferred a face-to-face exchange of views, but this is the best we can do given the limitations of our circumstances. But once again, I'm obliged for taking the time for asking these questions. I've tried to address them to the best of my ability. If I have fallen short in any which way, please feel free to write to us, and the compliance officer and the CFO will try and organize detailed responses in writing as soon as we can. Thank you very much.
I
Thank you.
hope.
Chairman,
Yes,
sir, I would like
Yes,
to allow me.
Pushpalata.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would
Yes,
like
go
to
ahead.
allow a few moments to check whether any questions we have received from the chat window. So please allow a few moments, sir.
Pushpalata, it seems that there are a few other questions that have come through.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And I'll take them one by one. There's a question from Mr. Hemant Bhatia. Thank you, Hemant ji, for asking the question. Hemant ji wants to know is there any plans to go to other countries apart from Australia, New Zealand, Singapore? Hemanji, currently we are very focused on these three geographies. We intend to continue to grow and capture more market share in these three countries. We are currently not contemplating any new international market openings for the moment. So I hope that satisfies your query. SIS is very focused on our current markets. I think India, Australia, New Zealand and Singapore offer a tremendous opportunity for growth and market share consolidation, and we're very focused on that for the time being. Next question is, what is the vision for next 3 years? As I said earlier, we have spelled out a vision 2025. It's available on pages 14 and 15 of the annual report. I urge you to kindly go through it. If you need further detailing, I request you to kindly write to Mr. Vamsidhar, who's the President for International Relations, and he'll be able to give you insight, greater insight about the details of the Vision 2025 plan. How much growth visibility for current year? Well, I've just spelled out that responding to the question from one of our shareholders a few moments earlier. Look, a lot will depend on the economic revival. And economic revival will depend on vaccination. And it will also depend on third wave and its severity. So I think we have, a lot of unforeseen, unknown things that are there. But having said that, I can tell you, without getting too much into details about our results, our April and May month results in the middle of second wave also, despite its severity, have not been grossly impacted. I think we've remained very resilient in April and May as well. So we've had a reasonably decent start to the year, and I hope that the coming 9 months are favorable, economy picks up, and SIS can return to its pre-corona growth trajectory. But once again, I'll request you to kindly bear with us, because we are not in a position to make any assessments given the uncertainties that prevail in the current environment. So that's one set of questions. Then there is a question from Shri Hima Gangarji. He asks, profit for FY 2021 is higher because of exceptional items. Otherwise, our profits are lower. Could you explain the exceptional items and what to expect next year? It's a very good question. My point is that all these details are explained in page 196 of the annual report. All the exceptional items are basically government grants. And, let me give you a context to that. See, the beauty of essential services operators or large employers, large blue-collar employers like us is that whether it is India or Australia, job creation and job employment protection is a priority agenda for governments across the world. So in a lot of countries, like New Zealand, like Singapore, like Australia, the government came forth to give large employers like us job protection schemes. Basically to say that don't cut any jobs, don't make anyone unemployed. And for that, the government gave us subsidies to compensate. And I think those are the exceptional items. So what I wanted to basically explain by that is that as essential services, when the economy grows, you grow 2.5 times GDP growth. That's the last 20 years trend. Economy grows, you will grow 2.5 times GDP growth. Why? Because whether new metro is made, new mall is made, new manufacturing site is made, new hotel is made, new healthcare facility is made, whatever this construction is happening, it will need a CCTV camera, it will need security guard, it will need facility management staff, it will need pest control, more people, more currency in circulation. You will always need an ATM replenishment cash van company. So we are very integrated to economic cycles. When economy grows, we grow 2.5 times. The beauty is when the economy contracts, our demand does not shrink. That is the beauty of our business. In growth cycles, we are like a consumer business. And in contraction, we are resilient like a pharma sector. This is a very unique industry where you have the benefits of a defensive and a consumer business both put together. But if you look at specifically about the exceptional items, please look at page 196. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer that. I would just lastly say that our profits are not lower. Clearly, I don't know how you got that. Our profits are not lower. However, because there is a matching charge to the P&L, it may appear so. So our profits are not lower. However, because of this, as a matching charge, the P&L which offsets this amount. So please look at the exact details on page 196. I think this is linked to the Henderson security impairment, and I think you will be able to see that very clearly why we impaired it. Very short, I'll explain for everybody. You know, the last 40% shares that we had to buy in Henderson, pre-corona, we had made an assessment that we'll have to pay X dollars to buy that 40% shares. But we were able to negotiate a much better deal because the exiting shareholder wanted to exit quickly. He didn't want to wait. So we negotiated a much better deal for exit. Resultantly, we paid lesser for buying the 40% shares as compared to what we had estimated 2-3 years back. So we have taken certain impairment charges because our liability on account of this that was provisioned earlier was reduced significantly. So all the details are very clearly illustrated for you at on page 196. SIS takes great pride in having complete transparency in our reporting systems. If you still have any questions, please feel free to write to us. We will be happy to share any details that you want. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Abhishek would like to speak now. So I would request the moderator to please allow him to speak. Shubham?
Hello? Sir, can you hear me, sir? Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Please go ahead.
My best wishes for the company and my given. Sir, only 2 questions. Company paying dividend to the parent. Here also a huge amount of bad debt was being.
Unfortunately, Abhishek,
But we are not able to recover, and instead.
Could you repeat your question, please, Abhishek? I was not able to hear anything. Very bad connection.
Expenses also being doubled when we come. all we have done. Nothing else to all. I will participate.
I'm unable to hear clearly, so please excuse me. If you can type your question and send it to us, I can maybe address that. It seems that you're on a bad connection.
I do that, sir.
Should
Thank you very much, sir.
okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Chairman, sir, I would like to confirm now that. Okay, sir. Thank you, Abhishek ji.
Ladies and gentlemen, the e-voting facility will remain open for the next 15 minutes to enable the members who have not cast their votes so far and who would like to cast their votes. Members who have not yet cast their votes are requested to cast their votes during this time window. This time window of 15 minutes after closing of the AGM. For e-voting, please log on to the e-voting website and click on Shareholders Stock Members tab. Then you will be redirected to the voting page while you continue to be part of the meeting. Board, based on the reports of the scrutinizer, the results of the e-voting will be announced within 48 hours and will be immediate and will be intimated to the stock exchange and uploaded on the website of the company by the CDSL. The resolution as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of the requisite number of votes. Thank you for the attending the meeting. I want to thank all our directors for joining this meeting. With your consent, all board members and myself would like to declare the proceedings as closed. Thank you everyone once again for attending the meeting. Stay safe and follow the COVID procedures. Thank you very much.